Archie got the ball. Good morning, Spurs fans. Welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boy Dave for Match Day Live as we look to set the fox trap as we welcome Leicester down to N17 and look to put back-to-back wins together and hopefully try and gather some momentum to reignite our season. As you can see, we are joined by a stellar panel today, the one and only Drew, Dermotron and Donovan, and I cannot wait to get this one kicked off. We start with Drew. Drew, how are you this morning?
I'm doing all right, mate. This is the only day of the year that I don't mind fox hunting. So let's get it done. All right, in and out. Boom. Big up to everybody in the chat. I hope everybody's doing well. Big up to my fellow D's down in the screen here. How's it going, boys?
Panel of 4 Ds today. That Drew reminded me. It's it's getting we have to the point where we have to mix it up. You know, you can't have 4 Ds. That's discrimination now in today's world. Down to Derma. How are you, my man? Oh, not very good. Derma. He's tired today.
Yeah, it shows that I'm really unprofessional. I mean, as I was saying, I'm glad to be part of any D army. There's no Derma army in the chat, so I'm just glad to be part of any D army. So bring on the D. That's what we're on about. Yeah, I'm like Drew. The only day I like fox hunting, a bit of fox pie, a bit of mashed potato, gravy, you know, a bit of sweet corn in there as well, a bit of mushy peas, and on we go. 3 points. Tottenham for the quad. It's on.
Oh, I love that. Dermo, you might want to change your mic. It's not on your usual mic, Dermo. Just to let you know. I can hear you, but it's not on the usual mic. So just to let you know. And Donovan, how are you, my man? How are you keeping?
Hey, big up, Echo Drew. Honestly, guys, I'm looking forward to the return of Ollie Skip and Harry Winks. I got my Red Bull. So let's get 3 points on the board in the Premier League. It's been a long time, so let's go, guys. One step at a time.
Could do with a massive 3 points today. Absolutely spot on. Look, let's welcome some people in, give them everything they need to know, and then let's crack on. We've got Darren Johnson renewing his membership. Big up, Darren. Hopefully you're keeping well. I really appreciate the support, Darren. Big up, my man. We've got Adrian Schrock in the house. Good morning, Dave, Jack, and et al. Good afternoon, Adrian. Good to see you. Or good morning, even. We've got On Your Bike, Scott. Big up, lads. We need these 3 points today. Come on, you Spurs. Couldn't be any more correct there. On Your Bike, Scott. Really need to win, my man. Wembley once morning, everyone. I fear for the second half of today's game. We're clearly going to be running on empty. A loss today, and absolutely we're in a relegation scrap. Do you know what? I think it definitely heightens the conversations around it for sure. But if we win today, I think it staves off that talk, which is absolutely huge. But look, going to be running on empty, I'm a bit worried about today's game because off the back of Europe, at the best of times, you always see a little bit of a slump. So it'll be interesting to see how we can go on today's game. Big up, Mick Carmelot. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Jason says, is Dave going to bring the sick bags if we lose today? Look, if we lose today, you know me, I'll just go to bed early. That's what I always do. Shem Town, great to see you, my man. He says, it's game day. Come on, you Spurs. We've got Mungie in the house. Up the Spurs. Drew says, chat, that we're going to smash this lot today. Absolutely love the confidence. Elvis G says, good morning all. Let's look forward to elation or another meltdown. Look, hopefully elation. That'd be brilliant. Davey Hall says, big up everyone. It's Sunday and I'm praying for a win. Big up, Davey Hall. Good to see you. Bob Bean Counter, big up Felix. I'm going to the match today and we have a 100% win rate when I go to the match. Just saying. Well, hopefully you can continue that on today. We also have Kerry King morning. Oh, Dr. Tottenham was waiting to see Leicester. Come on, you Spurs. I wonder, is there, many people that feel like that today. We've got Miss Bunny says, like the effing stream. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Come on, guys, run them likes up. We've got Chris Antonio. Good job. Oliver Twist is not the referee. Sends everyone off unless you're Man City, Liverpool, or Newcastle. We've got Jack Bloom, 25A Spurs fans. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also got True Pack. Come on, you Spurs. I'm here for back-to-back wins. Absolutely love that. Got Patrick McCrory. The 50 is for Dermotron today. We also have Tartan Spurs. Good morning, panel. Here we go again. Another day in Hotspur Paradise. Hopefully it is Hotspur Paradise today. That'd be nice. We've got London Kane. Another clean sheet for Super Josh Keeling in goal. It's 12 clean sheets in 16 games. What a fearless young keeper. Come on, you O's. Do you know what? He's doing an absolute brilliant job there on loan at Leighton Orient. Saving penalties, scoring goals, keeping clean sheets. The loan spell couldn't have gone any better for the kid, to be fair. Donnelly's getting it together there as well, which is good to see. J Mac, big up Davey, Drew, Donovan, and Dermot. Good to see you. James Murphy, let's do this on King Bill's birthday. Good to see you, my man. Make sure we're not missing anyone. James, the Spurs fan, great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Lee Nery's in the house. Says big up Dave, Jack, and the panel, and everyone in chat. Come on, you Spurs. We also have Don Bruton. Come on, you Spurs. Let's get a good first half in and hang on. Look, I think that's going to be the game plan today. We don't have the legs to go 90 minutes. It doesn't make sense to conserve and go second half because you've already got 45 minutes in your leg. For me, it's got to be first half and look to consolidate. Mario Kidabos says, good morning, guys. Have to win today. Surely it's last chance. Saloon for Ange. Come on, you Spurs. We also have Dermatron in there saying, big up, everyone. We've got KCM. We are simply due a big win at home. Let's hope the crowd are loud and proud. Postecoglou's called for it anyway, that's for sure. Da M says, a win today. And then we've got Luke Thompson. I would really like for Mickey Van de Ven music to come on unexpectedly. Glass smashes and he charges out onto the pitch, ready for a couple of assists. Do you know what? We'd all love that today, Luke, to be honest with you. But I do think the likes of him and Romero will be held back for some of these cup games coming up. Just make sure that they're back fully fit and with their training and that, rather than rush them back like we did. With Romero Van de Ven against Chelsea, because it's counterproductive once we do that. But big up, Luke. Good to see you. Let's give everybody everything they need to know. So, of course, we are playing at the greatest football in the world, or the greatest stadium in the world, and that is Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. today. Referee is Rob Jones. VAR room is Chris Kavanagh. In UK and Ireland, not available. In USA, it's on NBC Sports, and in Australia, it's on Up the Sports. And the injury list for Cario, Van de Ven, Dogi, Basuma, Sarr, Johnson, Uda, Burr, Werner, and Solanke. Potentially Jed Spence, although I have a feeling he'll play. With Leicester City, Fatawa, Hermanson, and Didi and Pereira. So that's all the injury news ahead of today's game. So look, let's get into it. Let's kick it off. We'll start with you, Dermot, just to test that mic. After Tottenham's 3-2 win over Hoffenheim in the Europa League, how crucial is it for Spurs to maintain that momentum with a Premier League victory over Leicester City today?
It is. How's that? Is that any better?
Much better.
Yeah, it's great, mate.
See, unplug it, plug it back in, come out, job done. That look, it is important. Look, Wednesday wasn't the prettiest of wins, but it was a win. And I thought first half we were fantastic. I thought James Maddison was fantastic. It shows how much we've missed Bentancur in that midfield, by the way. He just nips everything together. That's why I call him the Uruguayan general. That is what he is. He's the general in that midfield. He tells people, and I thought Bergfield played very well with him, actually. Him and Maddison as a tree were very good. Look, it is important. It's important for two reasons. One, for momentum. Two, for confidence. And as you say, Dave, we've got to play for 45. I wouldn't say even 45 minutes, for an hour. A good hour, 65 minutes. Give it your all. And then start bringing on a few substitutions. Bring on the young Mikey Moore. Bring on the young Yossi, who absolutely, you watch them three. When the youngsters were on, we kept going up the pitch. They know how to play with each other. So, we are getting there. We will get there. So we have to use Wednesday as a platform to move on. And it's so important, Dave. But I think we can. I think today, we turned the corner.
No, look, I think, you could see what it meant to everybody, dropping on the pitch at the end of the game. Some of that's down to fatigue. Some of that's down to relief to finally get a win. You've seen the pictures at the end of the game that Maddison put all over social media, what it means to them. You can see it was clearly affecting them and that they really needed this big win. And look, I think there's been too much made of the second half performance out in Hoffenheim. Personally, I think there has to be an understanding that the players we're using are absolutely bollocks. You are never going to continue on the way we were playing in the first half for the full 90 minutes. Has to be an understanding. People moan about game management, etc. Well, that's what we've done. It's what we tried to do. Thursday night we tried to hold on to what we have. We went at them in the first half, looking to use our energy, and then look to conserve it in the second half. Now, look. That's where the problem comes in. We are not set up like that, and we cannot play like that. We're not good enough to do that. But you would hope, that they've learned a few lessons. I think simple things. They were driving the ball straight back up to them. Get your foot on it. Show a bit of composure. Keep possession. Kill them off that way, so you're not running back and forth or just looking to sit in and contain yourself. But also, I agree with you about the youngsters, Dharma. I think the likes of Olazesi, Moore, who come on, just winning runners, looking to get the ball and get us up the pitch, get us out. So hopefully Postecoglou has realised that maybe he can't turn to them today. Got Brian Dempsey in the house, member for 29 months. Good morning, Dave, on the panel. Must win today, lads. We love to see Mikey Moore to start and maybe bring Sonny on if we need him. Moore is fearless. Well, look, what? 2 assists in these last 2 games off the bench. He's certainly having a massive impact. And we are going to have a conversation. I've sort of dwindled down the other questions, and we're going to get a lot into personnel and players today. Brian Dempsey, and I do have conversation about Moore, about Son, about Kulu, who should start out wide. So big up Brian Dempsey. Good to see you, my man. Look, hopefully we can get the win today. We've got Brecken in the house as well. Big up Dave, Drew, Donovan, and Dermo. Can we win 2 games in a row? Come on, you Spurs. Look, you'd like to think so, my man. You'd like to think so. Rob Franks is turning a corner after conceding 21 shots against Hoffenheim. Okay.
I can actually add to that.
I mean, they had 22 shots and they only had 5 on target. We had 8 shots and we had 5 on target. So some would argue we're more clinical and they were just taking pot shots from anywhere. So, I mean, you can put a stat in the chat to, fit towards any narrative you like, right?
I mean, you look at games we've had, all the stats. You look at the stats. Tottenham anyone read them stats? Tottenham should have won. You look at the stats against the last game we had better stats than Everton. Stats would say Tottenham would have smashed Everton, but we didn't. It's all about taking your chances. We took our chances. You're right. You can fit any stat to any narrative. You're right, Drew. So that's why I like you on. You're my backup man. You're there. I say something, you just come in with a final punch. See?
Big up, Rise. Reese, good to see you, my man. We've got Moondog in the house, says, I'm laid up in bed at the minute, so a win will help. Well, look, first of all, hopefully it's not too serious, my man. Hopefully, it's just a quick flu, few days in bed, which sometimes is nice, by the way. And, you get yourself better soon, my man. But look, hopefully we can get the win for you today. It's nothing worse when you're sick and Tottenham's losing. It's horrible. So hopefully we get the win. Big up, Moondog. And hopefully Charlie, we'll be watching the game today as well. Big up, Moondog. And then big up, Finn, as well. Coming in here, great to see you. And then James, Spurs fan as well, good to see you. He says, I am Ange out, but today the fans must make their voices heard towards the board. Well, look, we'll get on to a conversation around the atmosphere today as well. Drew, Leicester is in dreadful form with just 2 goals in their last 7 league games. Should Spurs see this as an opportunity to secure a routine victory? Or is there still a danger in your mind that Dr. Tottenham could turn up? Because we have dropped the points against a lot of teams that have been vulnerable this year, Palace, Ipswich, etc.
Yeah.
Wolves.
I mean, I can't say that I'm not a tad bit nervous just because, like you say, just because of the running theme this year. The one thing I will say, I was shocked last week that he decided to completely change tactics. When we were sitting here last week talking about the Everton game and I said I wanted him to change a little bit, that was me saying, could we maybe just drop a little bit deeper and maybe just not leave ourselves so open? I didn't expect a complete change in formation that we ended up, capitulating in a half. So I would like to think, just a little bit more conservation of energy. Like I'm sounding like a broken record at the moment, but the only thing that's happened since Hoffenheim is that the players have got 70 to 90 more minutes in their legs, and it's the same players. So I'm at the point now where people. I've seen chats, or I've seen people in the chat some shows recently of the last couple of days, and it's like, just want a really strong 90-minute performance. You're not going to get 90 minutes out of these players. Yeah. Like you're going to get 45 to 60, and then you've basically just got to batten down the hatches. And I don't, as a Tottenham fan, I don't like that. I'd like us to have 90 minutes of really good, strong, solid football, control the game. But it's just we're just having to do what we can to get through at the moment. And Leicester are there for the taking. I think if we're sensible, and I think if everybody's on their game, and I think if everyone can just keep themselves as sharp as possible and G each other up and give themselves, everyone needs to start looking after each other on that pitch. And I think you can see it. There's a sort of camaraderie forming, almost like a them against us, backs against the walls kind of thing. And I don't honestly expect us to get anybody into this transfer window. Maybe one player. But I'm just at the mind now where I'm going full back in against this, full back in this team until the end of the year, and we'll just see where the chips fall. But yeah, Leicester today, I don't think we still should have enough quality to get the job done. Yeah. I don't think it'll be pretty, but I think we'll get the job done.
The thing is, for me, Drew, it all comes down to how clinical we are in front of goals today. You know, you look back at the return leg at their place, we ripped them open, but we haven't been clinical, you know, with the chances that we've created. And to be fair, there's been quite a few games like that this season. Fulham game, ripped them open in the first half, didn't take our chances, got caught later on in the game. You know, it's been like that, rinse and repeat. So for me, today it does come about. I think we'll create chances. I think we'll play good football in the first half. It's just whether we're going to be clinical enough in front of goal to take enough of them to put.
I mean, it's been like that. I mean, how many times have we used the word clinical between all of us in these pre-matches in this entire season? You know, there are so many games where we go out and we start real quick and we're putting shots wide, we're putting them over. How many times could we have been three up in 20 minutes? And this comes, you know, like you said, it comes down to that word, clinical. And then people will say, oh, well, the argument is we don't have clinical players. We shouldn't have bought Solanke for 65 million. We should have got a better striker, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, clinical is the word.
No, 100%. But look, awfully Big Rich, you know, see, it's hard because you've got players coming back. There's going to be a lack of sharpness to a degree from some of them. When you've got players that are fatigued, there's going to be a lack of sharpness, which adds to you not taking your chances. So let's see what we could do today. Big up,
I just add into that, Dave. They're training at 60%. They're training at 70% during the week. They're having a rest day after games where other teams are, you know, doing light work. So other teams are naturally sharper just because of all the extra work that we're doing, and we're having to take the hit. It's not you know, I can't imagine that Ange wants them to come back and not do training for a day. Like, he'd like to be getting stamina levels up, but you can't risk it because what happens if Maddison and Kulu go down? You know, there's a very, very delicate squad management going on, and that's because of the terrible squad management that happened 8 months ago.
No, absolutely could not agree more with that. You're absolutely spot on there, my man. Look, I just pray for it to rain goals today. Instead of raining water, I just want it to rain goals today. That would be absolutely nice. Faz Radfar 4-1 Spurs says, big up my favourite channel. No individual mistake can kill the game in the first half. We win 4-1. Trust me, absolutely love that. Big up Ryan Mack. As well, so I really hope that Tottenham Stadium shakes with noise against the board today. I really do. Fans need to vent their anger at those useless owners. Look, I think, you know, many fans are pissed off with the transfer market right now, my man. We've got, where is it gone? Cap and Pants as well. Good to see you. Mikey Moore opens his account today. I'd love that. Rayman says, come on, you Spurs. Looking forward to a positive performance today. I'm expecting Johnson to start on the right. Akulu to start on the bench today. Johnson back. Where did you see that, my man? Let me know. Terry Betts, good to see you. Spurs, Dermot will be great. He's number one fan. Spurs are going to win 3-1 today and on Thursday. And then we also have K32. Great to see you. Hello, Dave, Jack, and everyone. Hope all are well. Expecting a big result today. Fuming. We're so near transfer deadline day and still no incomings. Levy out. Yeah, look, I can't believe we're in this position considering how long we've had to act on the situation. It's absolutely madness, to be quite frank. The fact that we haven't signed anyone else to relieve. I know we've got, you know, in terms of, you know, squad registrations and stuff like that. But for me, just buy players in and leave the crap ones out that ain't contributing. But look, it's just madness. It's unforgivable, to be quite frank. Moondog says, how is it we are the only club that can't sign anyone? It's embarrassing. We are a joke of a club now. I'm making a Levy voodoo doll and ordered 2,000 pins. Do you know what, Moondog? If anyone can make one of them, I have no doubt it's definitely you. That's for sure. He's got all the talents, this guy. He makes cups, clocks. You name it, you know, Moondog can make it. He's absolutely brilliant with all that sort of stuff. And if anyone does want off-the-cuff Spurs merch or one-off stuff for people that, you know, that support Spurs, you want to give a gift, Moondog is your guy on that. Look, like we all keep saying, it's really unforgivable. And I think a large part of it is they haven't accepted that you might have to pay a bit extra to get players over the line this month, signings over the line. Yeah, you can look at everyone else and say they're not doing much, but, you look at Man City, for instance, already brought in a couple of players. Look at the difference it made for them yesterday. They needed help. They went and got Guardiola help. We're still sitting here twiddling our thumbs, and it's a bit of a piss take, to be honest with you, Moondog. And it just goes to show to me that, if we are ever in this situation and it's, a lot more serious than now, I don't back them to find the money or the resources to get us out of it, which is hugely concerning, Moondog, hugely, hugely concerning. And look, it's up to them now because they know what they're going to get in February if they don't make any signings. I think they're sitting there banking on Postecoglou to pull a few results out of the bag to ease the pressure on them. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully, fans still recognize, we need signings and stuff like that. But big up, Moondog. Nowhere near good enough. Big up, Tell as well. Great to see you, Jose, in the chat, my man. Good to see you. Donovan, on to you, though, buddy. Look, Spurs, we're hovering just above the relegation zone. A loss today against Leicester would heighten the fears of relegation because all of a sudden you are being sucked into it very, very quickly. But if we win, I would think Donovan will probably stave off the relegation talks for the season. How much pressure is on the team to deliver today? Do you think they can handle that pressure?
Well, worded question, but the likes that we're relying on Bergvall, Moore, Gray, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
It kind of shows how far we've fallen, and the fact that we're, 20? What's the day today? 26th. 26th. Yeah, and one goalie, backup goalie. So it's clear to see that Daniel Levy has left us out to the wolves and have neglected us. So, if these youngsters can still find the form and everything they need to do, we'll get over the line. No, it's going to be crazy because we're going up against Ollie Winks and Oliver Skip and Harry Winks.
If they run riot in that midfield today, I am going to lose my mind because they are so crap. It's unbelievable.
I know. It's going to be like when you go back to what is it? When you go back to the San Siro and Oliver Winks putting a prime 6 display. No. We can do it in Europe against lesser opposition, so hopefully we can just do the retune Ange ball and play our game. We got 60,000 people behind us today. That's good game, and confidence. I don't know. Can we be confident in this team? I mean, we're down in relegation form, so no.
You don't have confidence that they could put 3 points on the board, and that maybe there's a bit of confidence in the camp after that win midweek.
Well, I've resorted to my pre-Ange shades, and I'm here trying to put my chest out and put some old Tottenham Hotspur vibes into this. No, I'm serious though. We'll be fine. It might be a squeaky bum 2-1 win, 3-1, but there's more than enough talent, and that'll show the difference of the clubs. We've invested in our infrastructure. We've invested in our first team. We've invested in the stadium. We'll be fine. So yeah, we'll get the win. It'll be grimy. And we'll probably go behind. Maybe we'll concede the first goal because we've conceded the first goal in the last 15 out of 20 home games. But we'll fight back. And it's obvious, if you haven't seen it now, the players have not given up on Ange. And they'll be there. So it'll be grimy. It'll take 60 minutes, but we'll be there.
And you're absolutely spot on there when you say the players haven't given up on Ange. It's clear that they're still out there fighting. I was even surprised to see Maddison out there fighting the other night. I think, it would have been with what's gone on between him and Postecoglou. He could have easily threw down the toys. Said, "Look, let's get rolled over here. Let's get a new manager in. Then I'll come to life." Fair play to him. So it is clear. You're absolutely spot on that he still has the dressing room, and hopefully now with that, we can build on the momentum from midweek. Start putting a few wins on the board because winning games is what brings confidence to the players, to the manager, etc. So hopefully we can do that because look, no one wants to continue this run into that Liverpool game. I think if we continue the run of losing games into that Liverpool game, the inevitable is going to happen at Anfield. So we need to try and gather some sort of momentum. So it is a big game today, but also in terms of staving off the relegation talk, there's a lot of fear around, heightened fear around, Spurs could get relegated. If we lose today or we don't win today, I think then all of a sudden it becomes a real possibility or a real talking point. But if we win today, Donovan, equally, I think it staves it off.
Yeah, and like, let's be real here. Like, if you want the proof in the pudding, the real villain here is Levy and Enoch, because what are we, 26 days in and no signings? And the managers come out in the last 4 out of 5 press conferences. Hey, can we get some signings? It's went from desperate to a need to crucial, like all the synonyms, all the adjectives you want to use. And the fact is, we have no backing. I mean, come on, what's the point? What's the point here? So it's clear to see Andrew's on board. We got the players on board, but we have no backing from the ownership. Like, that is unacceptable. And there's only one person we can point all the blame to, and we know who it is now. So the cards have been shown. So
this is what drives me mad, though, is like, you look at the players that dropped on the pitch the other day, after 90 minutes, even on a human level. How can you not look at that and go, they are exhausted, they need even just 1 or 2 bodies? So we don't need, okay, don't go and get 5 and 6. I can understand that, but go and get at least just 1 or 2 bodies to come in and help alleviate the situation. And if Levy looks at that and we don't get anybody else in between now and the end of this week, I'm sorry to say, he is all about his money, because in a time of need with the football club, you would really think, that he'd pull that money out and, invest it to try and push us back up the table.
No disrespect, but what was Bergvall playing? 3rd division, 2nd division Swedish football? You can't tell me you can't go out there and find a 2nd division Norway player, a 2nd division Japanese player, someone out there that can help this squad, who is data driven, someone who can come out here. So it's just negligence.
Look, there's players out there. We just not acting quickly in the market. And I can tell you now, it's shaping up for your traditional crap loan player for 6 months. At the end of this window, a Timo Werner, a Dan Juma sort of player. I can tell you now, and then a deadline day contract renewal of some sort. So go and look at the contracts, who's coming up, and go and pick bingo who you think is going to get the renewal. Moondog says hit the like and the subscribe button. Big up, Moondog. Really, really kind of you, my man. Guys, keep running up them likes. Really does help us out here. But big up, Moondog. But look, I think most people will agree, it's not good enough, this situation. Yeah, we're not expecting 5, 6, 7 players, but at least 1 or 2 just to help the situation. If there was crimes against running the football club and you were brought to court for it, Levy would be charged with negligence right now. He definitely would, or child abuse. The amount of kids we're running into the ground right now, it's absolutely madness. Big up, Kate, as well. Great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. How's Jimbo? I always get the impression that you have to simmer Jimbo down on match day, temper the excitement. But big up, Kate. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Let's move on, though, because I do want to ask you this, Drew. With injuries mounted throughout this season, our squad has become increasingly depleted, leaving us short of options in several positions. Given that, Spurs have a number of players out on loan. Many have wondered if Postecoglou has considered bringing any of them back to help ease the injury crisis. In his pre-match press conference, he was asked about recalling, say, Manor Solomon or Brian Hill. Postecoglou firmly stated, no, we won't be recalling these players. Do you agree with this decision, or do you think he should be more flexible given the current situation, especially if we don't end up signing anyone, Drew? Do you think we should look to the loan market and recall some of our players?
To be honest with you, Dave, it depends on how old they are, because, I'm going to touch on it. I spoke to you about it. Jason McGovern, last word on Spurs, registration numbers, right?
Yeah.
So... And I'm not going to bore everybody because they can go and watch it for themselves. But the long and the short of it is, when it comes to the Europa League squad, you can make 3 changes, right? So we're going to swap out 2 players and we're going to put in Kinski and Spence. So that's 2 changes. So you've got 1 more player that you can register in that squad. So if we go out and buy 2, 3 players to alleviate stress and issues, only one of those 2, 3 players can be registered in the European squad. For the Premier League squad, we've already got 17 non-EU, non-homegrown, non-club trained players, one of those being Reggie. So you could deregister Reggie, and that gives you a spot to put a player into the Premier League squad. Otherwise, if you then buy more than 1 player, you've got to start deregistering players from the first team. And as much as everybody is on a Basuma at the moment for not being very good, you're not deregistering him and letting him sit at home and watch football for 6 months. As much as people might not like X, Y, or Z player, you're not going to deregister them and have them sit at home and watch football just so that you can bring somebody in to alleviate a situation for 6 months. So basically, we've got one spot that we could go out and buy a player and fit them into both squads, or we've got to look at under 21, or we've got to look at previously club-owned players. Anyone want to buy Winks? Anyone want to buy Skip? You want those players back? Do you think they'll do a job? No. So this is why I mentioned it earlier. This stems from 8 months ago. This stems from 18 months ago. This stems from 3 years ago. This reeks of a club that don't know how to manage a squad.
Yeah.
So we can all be up in arms now and we can all say, I want 5 players in. We can only register 1 player. So I'm at the point now where I'm tired of shouting at clouds. It's not going to happen. In a perfect world, I think we could all agree that the front line could do with a bit of revamping. In a perfect world, Mateus Cunha comes into this squad because he can play left wing, right wing, centre forward, false 9, and he can drop into the 10 position on the left-hand side. So he fits 5 positions. He's also 25 years old. You could switch Reggie out. You could put him in. You could also put him in the Europa League squad. That would be the only business we could do, and that would be perfect business as far as I'm concerned. Other than that, all you're doing is you're bringing in a player for the sake of making up one position. I just don't know how you square this circle, right? We need another defender. Okay, so you go and buy a centre back. Well, then you got VDV and Romero coming back. So what? One of those is going to sit on the bench because they're your first choice. So you've got to go out and get a centre back, convince him that he can be first choice for, I don't know, 3 or 4 games, and then he's got to sit on the bench and wait for somebody to be injured again. Like, it's not as straightforward as FIFA. Like, I know, and I don't mean to sound pedantic when I say that, but it's not as easy as just, starting up your season, going down to the budget bit, giving yourself 100 million and turning yourself into the Galacticos. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what you do.
The thing is, I fully understand what you're saying, right? And I think, it was a great point raised by Jason McGovern, when that, get out your head that we're going to sign 4 or 5 players this window. It's not going to happen. But there are things we can do. For instance, you got Marcus Edwards out at Sporting, club trained player. Bring him in, deregister Whiteman. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, you're club trained players. There's still bits of maneuvering that we can do to, alleviate this pressure. If you've got a player that's going to be out up until towards the end of the season, deregister them, bring in another guy, and deal with that then come the summer. There are still little bits of movement we can do, but I agree with you in general. Our handling of the squad has been poor. And look, it's something that I've been trying to highlight for a long, long time at Tottenham Hotspur, about keeping club-trained players around when they're not good enough rather than keep, trying to produce more, registering players that just don't kick a ball for Tottenham Hotspur. We always fuck up the squad registrations, always mess around with them, and it's nowhere near good enough. But I do think people have to listen to what Drew is saying there, and he's absolutely spot on.
This is just
like you can only make so much once you go to re-register squads after January transfer window. It's not like you can just rip up the 25-man squad and re-register 25. There's only 3 changes you can make. You're absolutely spot on there. But it doesn't mean we can't operate. A good operator, there is little rooms for maneuver to be able to, bring in 1 or 2 still.
Absolutely. I mean, but this is, and so Jason made a great point. This is the club that thought that Eric Dyer and Ben Davies were English, and they're not. This is the club that thought that they could loan Matt Doherty to Atletico Madrid, and they couldn't because they'd run out of loan spots, so they had to cancel his contract. Like, in the background, there is clearly issues. Absolutely. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm having to separate myself from those issues on a match day, right? Because those issues were there a year ago, 2 years ago. And I'm just, for me personally, I'm at the point now where I can't let those things in the background detract me from watching 90 minutes of football. Like up until the whistle goes, yeah, we can have these conversations and we can talk about the crap that goes on in the background. But I'm very much like 90 minutes. It's just about the team. And then when the whistle goes again at the end, we can have these conversations about, you know, shitty ownership and shitty this and shitty that. But I guess I'm just getting tired of the Ange out halfway through a game, right? Like, I think we as a fan base have a little bit, we should have a bit more respect than that. Like, none of us liked it when it happened to Martin Yole. And yeah, you know, I just see it a lot in chats and stuff. But, you know, halfway through a game, just because a pass went astray, oh, that's it, clown, Ange out. I'm tired, man. So tired.
No, look, 100%. Look, I fully understand it. You know, I think that, you know, we're just, fans are angry at the minute because we're losing games of football, and it is hard to keep believing in something that's telling you it's not working, it's not working. You know, almost with this project, you have to just go, do you know what? I don't care what the universe is telling me. I'm backing it and hopefully play the long game with it. But I can understand, you know, the anger right now. But I do agree with you. You know, during games, I like to just try and get behind, you know, the team if we can, you know what I mean, and try and sing them to victory for sure. But Drew, you did make a good point about, you know, the atmosphere around the place right now, which I want to open a question to Dermo on this. Dermo, Postecoglou mentioned the role of the fans in giving the team energy. How important is it the home crowd, you know, lift Tottenham today and lift the spirits for such a crucial league game? Because it's weird. And what atmosphere do you expect to see today? Because it's a weird one. Do you expect to see frustrations of the fans that reflect the run of results we're on, but also the lack of activity in the January transfer market? Or do you expect to see an atmosphere that is boisterous and buoyed off the midweek win?
Look, I think so, yeah. I mean, look, hopefully it's going to be a boisterous and a hostile atmosphere against Leicester. But I do feel that if we go 1-0 down, it's going to turn on the board, it's going to turn on the players and the manager. And I think rightly so, because, you know, our opinion counts. All our opinions count. Doesn't matter if you're Ange in, Ange out, Levy in, or Levy out. All our opinions count. And we are the football club. The fans are the football club. Not Levy, not the manager, not the players. We, the fans, are. And people seem to forget that. And Levy seems to forget that. He thinks he's the football club. No, he's not. He's just holding the torch till the next person comes in and buys the football club. And I get fans are frustrated. I think the scenes after the Everton game were disgusting. I think the scenes after the Everton game, that fella, and I've said it before and I say it again, if I was near that fella who was calling Son what he was calling, I would have clumped him one. Because no one disrespects Sonny like that. Sonny's been a legend of the club for 10 years. And I think I do get the anger. I do get the frustration out there with Ange. I do get the anger and the frustration out there with the board. And they're rightly so with the board as well, by the way, because they've been nothing but useless for 20-odd years. I mean, I said it last night. I remember Ivan Scholar. I mean, he got everything wrong, but he tried. But like Alan Sugar back managers. So the fans are important, but we've got to vent our anger in the right way. We can't vent it at players for misplaced pass and then start giving out to him. They're going to be nervous enough as it is. They're going to be anxiety as it is. But we are the fans. The fans are the club. We have to save our football club. Our football club, we don't have a football club. We have an entertainment club. We've got to save our football club. And by doing that, it's getting Daniel Levy and the board to wake up and realise they cannot run it as a business. They have to run it as a football club.
But they're only going to do that, though, if you get fans unanimously down outside the stadium. I'm not talking... Look, fair play to the people that have already organised protests and stuff like that. You know, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's not easy to gather, you know, people down. But until we get thousands of fans down, we're never really going to, you know, put that sort of pressure on them. You know, you even look at the Super League protest, you know, which was probably the biggest numbers at a protest for Tottenham Hotspur, but they were dwarfed by Arsenal, Chelsea. You know, look how quickly they forced their board to come out with a U-turn and a statement, you know, and I think that's what needs to happen at Tottenham Hotspur, because, look, fair play to people that go inside the stadium and make their voices heard and stuff like that, even with the balloons. But, you're seeing the problems, then you're getting the stewards going over, bursting them balloons, everything else, I think, it needs to be done outside the stadium en masse. But until you get mass numbers down, I don't think you'll ever really get the change.
No, I mean, you look at teams in the past, you look at the Man United with them against the Glazers, look how organised and they were all together. You look at the protests at Newcastle as well, all organised and properly done. You talk about the Super League, Dave. My memories of Tottenham's protest is 5 men with Tottenham bags dancing around with beers in one hand and shoes in the other above their heads. And that was shown live on Sky Sports. Then you go down to Chelsea or Liverpool and Man United. Full protests. Man United got a game abandoned because of it. Look, there's no that shouldn't be accepted, but it was effective. And what really gets me, and I don't mean to dig anyone out here, and I'm not mentioning names or anything, I won't, but some of these people that do these protests are hypocrites. They say one thing on one hand and do something completely different on the other hand. And if you want a protest to work, everyone's got to be behind it 100% united. Everyone's got to be behind the one thing. And that thing is making our football great again. Do you know? And you can't have your cake and eat it. You got to give up something. Do you know? And I just really feel you got to look what Man United did. You got to look at Man United made another football club out of protest, a protest football club. That was effective. That got news. That got it on the news. That put more pressure on the Glazers than anything else. Now, it's not working out then because of Jim Ratcliffe. He's really ballsing things up there. But, there is people looking to buy Spurs. I'm hearing on the grapevine that, something is happening in the background.
Dermo, you told me last January. You told me heading into January. A couple of days.
No, hang on. I'm not having this. No, I get told stuff and I put it out there. Maybe right or wrong, but I'm not having you my source and that.
But you keep saying we're going to get taken over. You told me January.
No, I never said. I said we might, Dave. It's all right. You saying this to me, saying you said this.
I'm not dissing you. I'm just saying, Dermo. You've been saying on here for months. Oh, wait a week. News is coming. We're still in the same situation. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, look. I just get told. I tell people I get told. I'm not there digging out. I'm just passing on the information. Things are happening in the background. I can't say a lot. And it's okay you saying to me, you said this and you said that. But I'm only passing on information. And 9 times out of 10, my person I use is dead on.
Well, absolutely I'm going to say now, I don't think he is, Dermo. I think, the fact that we keep hearing, next week, and then I'm still waiting. This is what I'm saying. Look, you're entitled to your opinion and stuff like that. But all I'm saying is I've been hearing it for weeks, Dermo, about this takeover.
Yeah, well, look, I'm saying I trust him, and I'm sorry I do.
Can I pose a question?
Okay,
Can I pose a question?
It's okay that, and then people's then turning me in the chat then say he doesn't know anything. That's fine. That's grand. But I'm just saying, look, I'm not going to fall out with anyone, but we the fans have to act. It's down to us to save a football club, not down to any businessman. It's down to us to save the football club, and that's
right. When Newcastle got sold by Mike Ashley, it wasn't because of the fans. It was because he dug his heels in, waited 4 years, and got the deal that he wanted. Ineos haven't saved Manchester United. Arguably, they're in a worse position than they were. The only thing that Manchester United have got going for them is, I don't know, apparently some God-given right to be the best team in the world, even though they've only had, in my opinion, a couple of runs of really, really, they've had a couple of good decades, which fair enough. I mean, there's a decade, but look at the shit that they've done in between those two magnificent runs. So I don't know. I don't know that they necessarily deserve where they're at, but maybe that's just me being a salty Spurs fan. But I don't necessarily think the grass is always greener. I mean, none of those helped those clubs get sold any quicker. if anything, it just made the owners of the clubs more determined to get what they wanted and stick it to the fans. And I just, as much as God love you, Dermot, I respect and appreciate everything you got to say, but we are in 2024. This isn't 1984 anymore. And as much as I love the club belongs to the fans kind of thing, this is absolutely a business.
So
and I'm sorry, but if people, I hate saying, because me personally, I've had to come around to that way of thinking, because it's pointless thinking that they're anything else anymore. And I hate that. You know, I'm not trying to sound like a Dyer or anything like that.
No.
Club, but you're not. It's just not the way it is anymore. That guy has spent the last 10 years building up this empire. Unless somebody comes along with the perfect amount of money, and by the way, still probably lets him have his fingers in some of the pie, it's not going to change. Because other than some disgruntled fans thinking that we don't pay enough money for players, the business as a business runs perfectly. I'm trying my best not to sound like I'm just having a go at anybody, because I include myself in who I'm talking to. As fans, we are so fickle. We've decided in 18 months that Ange went from the return of the Messiah to the devil, and we want rid of him. We're done. We want this club to spend 100 million on a player, and in 6 months, if that player hasn't fit our dream of what that player should have done, we want rid of him. We are so fickle. If the club did everything that the fans wanted them to do every week when we decided we'd had enough of X, Y, or Z, the business wouldn't run as a business, and we'd all be sitting here scratching our nuts saying, where's Tottenham gone? Because it wouldn't be a thing anymore. It wouldn't even be a business. It would be nothing. It would be running to the ground.
Well, that's the thing, Drew, right? Like, we missed out on Jack Grealish. Like, say what he is now, but we could have got him for like £12 million back in the day. And what, Levy, you skimmed out on what, £100,000? £100,000, £500,000, and we're talking about multi-billion-dollar. We're talking about like a multi-billion-dollar business.
That. Nobody else went in for him as well. Nobody else went in for him, Donovan.
I'm talking about how we're not going to sell the club until he gets the exact nautical figure he wants.
Oh, right, exactly.
And so you think he's going to come in for 3, 4, 2 billion and escape the change? No, he's a businessman. You said it yourself. He's going to build up the club for what he thinks it's worth. He's not going to sell the club for what he wants. And we missed out on generational talents year after year after year for £1 million here, £1 million there. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And so, unfortunately, he's taken us to a certain point, and now it either you shit or you get off the crap, right? So we'll see where we go.
And also, they've also bought more into the club. They've invested, I think it's 11 point something million, which then increases what the club's worth. So you're looking around 6.5 billion. The club's not worth 6.5 billion. The club's worth about 4.5 billion, if that. Levy won't go until Levy gets the money he wants. Why would you want to sell a football club you're making millions on? With all the investment, with the hotels and everything, with the Skywalk, with the F1, which I would like to have a go on personally. The F1 track. I would actually. It looks good fun, actually, to be fair. And you look at the stadium tours, and I get Drew when he says it's not 1984. I get it. I do get that. But
and I say that with the utmost respect, Dermo.
I want my football club back, though. I don't want a business. I want a football club. And you look at other teams that are winning stuff. You look at other owners that back their managers. You look at Liverpool that back Klopp. You look at Man United. As bad as the Glazers are, they back managers. They've won trophies. I don't want the best stadium in the world. I don't want the best training facilities in the world. I want us to win a trophy. Dave's only seen one trophy in his lifetime as a Spurs fan. There's fans out there who've never seen us win a trophy. I've seen us win stuff. And it hurts. It hurts me. It hurts me that fans haven't seen us win a trophy. I don't like saying I don't like saying I've seen us win FA Cups and UEFA Cups. I hate saying that because I know Dave hasn't seen any of that. I know other fans haven't seen that, and it really hurts me. It really angers me. I get football as a business. I get football has changed totally over the last 20 years since the start of the Premier League. And I get it. I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it. But you can run a business and you can run a football club. It's done. Liverpool, Manchester United, Man City, for all their problems. Do you know, backing managers. When Pep in his first season had problems. Do you know, football is more than life and death. Bill Shankly said that, and he's damn right. It's more than that. Football is a passion. Football is our second love. But we haven't got a second love because our club is run like a business somewhere in the posh end of London. We're Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, not Tottenham Hotspur Entertainment Centre. Get it? Do you know? Levy has to get it into his thick skull. We're a football club, first and foremost. And he has to get it right, and that's by backing managers. And I had my watershed moment this year. I was always balanced on Levy. I'm just down want him out now. I just want him gone because our club's not a football club anymore, and it kills me. It really kills me.
I think what you're seeing, you know, as the years go on, more and more people, you know, slowly turn into the idea. I think building the stadium maybe bought Daniel Levy some leeway and stuff. Yeah. But I think now that we've got all the infrastructure in place, I do think you are seeing more and more people becoming more frustrated, especially with all the new revenue sources, the hikes in ticket prices, etc. But still, you know, we seem to be getting worse and worse on the field. And I think, you know, once that happens, the frustration increases. But look, you know, hopefully at some point that the fan base can unite, because even if it doesn't get rid of them, it still puts pressure on them. It makes people talk. Once people talk in the media, it puts more pressure on him. And then hopefully, even if he's, you know, not going to sell, he might change his ways a little bit to stave off that talk and stuff like that. Look, let's wait and see what happens anyway. Let's wait and see what happens. We'll move on. We take some comments here from the chat and we'll move on and talk about the lineup for today's game. We've got Rob Frank. I don't even think relegation would get more than 1,000 fans outside the stadium. Do you know what? I sort of agree with that to a certain extent. Look, you know, the fan base is so divided on everything. You know, you even take out some of the big topics the last few years. Conte, Kane, what's the other one? There's another one there. There's another one there that I can't remember. You know, some of the big talk, it's, the summer transfer window. You know, everyone just sees things differently. So you're never, like even me, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm like, look, I don't think the transfer window has been great. And everyone's, oh, Dave, why are you being so negative? You need to get on board and everything else. And it just goes to show how people see so many things differently. And until, you know, there's a message put out there that the majority of people can get behind, I don't think it will happen, Rob Frank. Absolutely spot on, my man. Spurs GCTV, good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. He says, afternoon, gents. Come on, you Spurs. Anita says, don't be surprised if we lose this team. Our confidence merchants. Last week, we only played after the first goal. Rooty Toot says it's all very well signing Newt, but Andrew's only using them under duress because of injuries. They'll all be back on the bench when the seniors return. And to a degree, I think you're absolutely spot on there, Rooty Toot. DB says, like Andrew 1 week and Andrew out the next. Look, Dermot loves winning. Once we win, you know, he loves Postecoglou. When he loses, he gets upset. Look, we all do. It's the nature of the game, right? It's the nature of sports, though, DB. You know, you win, you're all over it. You lose, you're upset. That's the nature of the game. And big up the Owl lads this morning, boys. I see it's glue yourself to the windows time again. Come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up there. Hopefully you're keeping well. Hopefully we can get the 3 points today. That'd be absolutely brilliant. That we could definitely do with that. By the way, disappointed you didn't come to the GA game with me yesterday. And Reese says 100%, Dave, if we unite and support the group, let's not be Ange in, but manager in, forget Enoch, etc. The lads are in, so let's be in. Big up, Reese. By the way, Drew, he was asking you about your own channel. A few people have asked you, is there anything in the works or any ideas behind doing one?
No. No, I mean, mate, no. No, don't get me down. Don't make me go down that rabbit hole. I'm perfectly happy having my 15 minutes on your channel and Adrian's channel. Big up Tottenham till I die. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Well, there you are, Reese. There you are. Drew's giving you his answer, man. And also,
I'm so conflicted. I'm so confused. I really don't know. I feel like there's so many people in the space already, and I just enjoy being with you guys. So I'll probably just kick it with the Irish Hotspur, man.
No, look, I appreciate that, lad. I really do appreciate that. You know what? It's one of the best things I've done in my life, but it's sort of like once you start, you can't really stop, because the games just keep coming, keep coming. So it does, I will warn people, it does take up and consume a hell of a lot of your life. So if you are thinking about it, big up, Reese, really appreciate becoming a new YouTube member, my man. Big yourself up, really appreciate the support. Keep checking out the community section. We try to do a lot for our members to give back. So make sure you check that out, my man. Big yourself up. But look, guys, let's get into some team selection today. Let's talk about, we'll start with Jed Spence. Postecoglou said Jed Spence is a doubt after picking up a knock last weekend. However, Spence has a massive feature right across the match day program. He's also on the cover of it. So what do we think, guys? Does Jed Spence start today? Who wants to kick us off? What's your feelings on the Jed Spence situation? We'll start with you now.
Some mind games by Ange, but like another Romero appearance in the Chelsea derby. No. It sucks because we run every single player into the ground, and we need to because we are in the worst injury crisis the league has ever seen. But people will disregard that because Ange plays a high line, and he says mate a lot in every press conference. It's crazy because Conte wrote the guy out as a club signing, and it's clear to see the guy possesses talent. He can play an inverted left back when he's a right-footed player. That is something so hard to do, coming from the guy who's played the game at a high level. To play on the wrong side and still be able to advance the ball forward is mesmerizing. I think it was his Nottingham coach that said he'll either be a League One player, a non-league player, or a Premier League star, and we're seeing the latter. I'm hoping he can pull one out of the hat and play a pivotal role in today's game, but we need more than him, man. We need the squad. We need some kind of inspiration today because Leicester are fighting for points. They're the new yo-yo club. Jed Spence, man. Who would have thought the club signing Jed Spence is our poster boy now? So, yeah.
Do you know what? It just goes to show, how far he's come this season in general for Jed Spence, though, right? It's a good reflection on, how well he's handled himself in this situation. When he came to Tottenham, no matter what he'd done, Conte iced him out. He doesn't matter how he trained, he was never going to get minutes. Then he come back under Ange, came in, he got sent out on loan, came back, had a really good preseason, was still being overlooked, got his chance against Coventry, then had his groin injury. And if I'm a player at his age, at some point I'm going to go, it's just never going to be my time here. I'm looking to get out. I'll probably lose my head, where he hasn't. He's kept it. He waited for his opportunities again, and he's grasped it. And I think the biggest compliment that anyone can pay him was Postecoglou, where he said, look, he didn't just come in and add to what we're doing. He came in and he's made a real impact. And that's something that we've been asking of Spurs players in years gone by. There's been too many players there where you bring them in and people's like, what do you expect them to do? He needs a run of games, with Winks. I remember people used to say, you need to give him 8 to 10 games to get going. I'm like, that's a third of the Premier League, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Mentality monster.
Straight in, takes his opportunity, Donovan.
Yeah. Mentality monster. You said it right. And personally, I know, according to Spurs King, I'm only a Div 3 Canadian player, but the reality of the fact is, mentality monster, man. You can only play that's ahead of you, and the fact that he's been slated off to the side. And let's be real, if you're making 5 figures in any economy nowadays, you could just sit up with your feet up. But the fact that guy's kept himself in match shape, he's kept himself fit, and he's kept himself with the dream of buying into the first team and wanting to keep playing and fight for that spot. I mean, you got to give him some credit. And hey, we're in London. We're in the home of football, man. Let's see what he can do today. But your question was, is he going to play today? I hope he does. At the same time, though, you've heard me preach Reguilon. I don't know why we've given up on Reguilon. He's a Europa League winner. He's was the next Spanish best thing out of Spain since Dani Alves, right? Not Dani Alves, he's Brazilian, but you know what I mean. Was the up and coming left back in Spanish football. So we have talent, we have it on the bench. Let's see what happens today. But there's no excuses for me. Leicester are relegation fodder, and this is one of those games where you have to establish yourself as the Premier League outfit you are. And Tottenham Hotspur have always been a top 6 club. So, one step at a time. That's all I'm going to preach.
No, absolutely spot on, lad. Absolutely spot on. Dermo, Jed Spence, say if he is unavailable today, look, first of all, do you think he'll play? But if he is unavailable today at left back, Archie Gray or Sergio Reguilon for you?
Archie Gray for me all day long. I think I didn't put him in my predicted lineup just because of the knock, and I wasn't sure. I didn't put Basuma or Osar in either. I went with the same team basically that started on Wednesday, I think. Yeah. And look, if he's not 100% fit, then don't play him. Put him on the bench. Have him there as an emergency, but don't risk him. Don't let him play for about 10 minutes and then break down if he is not 50% fit. I would do that. I wouldn't start Reguilon. I think we need to cancel Reguilon's contract, by the way. If we're going to bring somebody in, there's 3 players you can get rid of. Fraser Forrester, Alfie Whiteman, and Reguilon. So that's 3 spots you can, if you want to bring in 2 players. Just going back to your point, Drew, about deregistering players. There's 3 players you probably could deregister if you wanted to. But no, if he's not 100%, then don't put him on the bench.
Let me
down myself.
Let me throw a caveat to that then.
Alfie Whiteman doesn't get deregistered from the Premier League squad because he's homegrown, and he can't leave the Europa League squad because we need the homegrown.
So basically, if you were to get rid of Whiteman, you'd have to bring back a Walker Peters, who's now gone to Galatasaray.
Yeah, I know what
Marcus Edwards playing like that.
I guess you know.
But Dermo, let me pivot another question at you then off the back of that. Look, I understand what you're saying about Jed Spence. If he isn't fit, don't play him. But in terms of Archie Gray, he's going to have to play against Salzburg on Thursday. And you've seen at the end of the game, he dropped to his knees. He was physically out on his feet. Do you not think Postecoglou should then turn to someone like Reguilon or even, play Spence, knowing that he can't play midweek and, he can only play again next weekend? Is it the right? Basically, what I'm asking you is, with Archie Gray being so young, with how physically he looked on his feet at the end of the game, is it the right thing to put him out here again today, or is it just a case of needs must for you?
I think if you put it that way, you're probably right in your opinion on that. That probably do play Spence today or Reguilon and leave Archie Gray. But I just trust Archie Gray. I just trust he will give you 110%.
It's been brilliant.
He has been brilliant. And to be fair, people may slag off Bergville, but by God, that boy gives 110% for the badge. He's in there. He's tackling. And Philip Brady was raving about this lad last season before we bought him, and he was on about him, and he really was. And I said to Philip the other day before he went on another holiday, Mr. Brady, and like
another one.
I know he's in Lanzarote, he's sunning himself up. When you and me are here facing 2 storms, like he's back laughing at us, thinking, I'm in the sun. But no, he was raving about Bergville. And you look at Archie Gray, you look at Bergville, and some of them senior players need to look at them lads and think, oh, hang on a minute. If they can do it, why can I not do it? And you're right, we haven't got 100% and fit players because it boils down. Because we haven't got a fit player because our summer transfer window incomings was shit, and that's come back to bite us on the arse. That is why we haven't got the squad to do the full trophy thing. That is why and then you've got manager and sporting director apparently fighting with each other. One saying one thing, one saying another, and it's a mess. It's a holy bloody mess. The only good thing about it, and the club better do something today. And just very quickly, it's Bill Nick's birthday today. He'll be 106 years old. The club better do something today to recognise, because they missed They missed doing anything 2 years ago. So do something today. But look, going back to your point, Dave, I get it with Spence. Leave Archie Gray for Thursday. Play Spence today or Reguilon. But I just trust Archie Gray. I'm sorry. I just think he will give you more. Reguilon and Spence, as good as Spence has been, Reguilon, does he really give a shit? Probably not, because he's leaving anyway. Spence, if he breaks down, you're going to have to bring on Archie Gray anyway. So just start Archie Gray playing for an hour and then bring him off after an hour. And then bring on.
Do you know what? I do think there is an element that Postecoglou probably will go with Archie Gray. You know, I think
Yeah.
you brought up the word there, sort of trust. But look, I think he trusts Jed Spence. It's just for me, who can offer you more? Like, you know, I think with Jed Spence, he said it's soreness. Now that can go or that can prolong. You just really don't know. So it'll be an interesting call today at fullback. I mean, Drew, what do you think is going to happen at fullback before maybe we go in and start talking about the midfield today?
It's just so hard to call, man. I mean, if you would like to think that I know we had the issue with obviously VDV and Romero earlier in the year, but I still stand by the fact that if the medical team said they're ready to play, then they're ready to play. And I don't think Ange turned around to them and said, I don't think Ange turned around and forced them to play when he was told that they weren't ready. I don't think he's that, he's already taken Romero out of the firing line when he thought he had concussion, that sort of thing. So it suggests to me that he's protective of players. So I think if Spence's knock is just a knock and he can get through playing, then I think he probably plays. I don't know, man. The one thing going for Gray is that he's obviously seems to have some great stamina. I'm starting to get a little bit edgy, when you see him go for a full sprint and you're like, oh God, please don't. I don't know. I think it's just all hands to the pump. I think we're just going to have to share minutes appropriately. This is why I really wish. This is why I can understand the frustration a little bit with Ange at times and this may be because he was told one thing and another thing happened. But if you're trying to integrate Reggie now, why didn't you just try and integrate him at the beginning of the season? Why are we fucking around? Like after the transfer window had closed and you knew you weren't getting rid of him, there was always a chance that he was possibly going to need to do 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So why we're in a situation where he only now just starts getting kind of minutes, I find it a little frustrating. But it is what it is. He's spinning plates at the moment, right?
No, 100%. And look, with Reguilon, I don't think the plan was to ever use him. You sent him out on loan last season, very resisted to a large degree. I think he's only using them as a needs-must case. But look, I think, whoever does start a left back, if Reguilon isn't in the picture and it is Jed Spence and Gray, I think you'll probably see divide out the minutes between them, I would probably argue. Maka Edit says, end of the day, lads, we do 9 to 5s and get fatigued and tired. We don't get to rest. Get them playing. Absolutely love that bit of humor, my man. Big yourself up. And we've got this from Dark Sung G. Good morning, Dark Sung G, or good evening. Hopefully you're keeping well. My man says this season is weird. Bournemouth is a tough team. Also, I hope Richie and Son score against Leicester like they normally do. Richie, Everton era, he's gone with a 3-0 win. Look, Bournemouth are absolutely flying at the minute. They are absolutely flying. They done very well against. Oh, it's weird. He's in the picture in the back end, but when I bring him on screen, he's not. Try and log in and out again there, Donovan. I don't know what's going on there, my man. But they're on fire right now. Look, Iriola's doing a fantastic job there. And look, he's getting a lot out of the players that are there. And look, if I'm Tottenham, there's a few players I'm looking at there, like your Semenyos, like your Milos Kerkezes, looking to get them in here in the summer if it's possible to beef out your squad for sure. But look, it'd be interesting who takes the punt, who goes for Iriola first. Will Tottenham or will other clubs, look to go for him? Because I definitely think you'll have a lot of big clubs circling around Iriola looking to recruit him. If not now, if not between now and the end of the season, definitely over the summer. And I think that's where he'll probably make that leap, because with Bournemouth, he's done a fantastic job there. But with the size of the stadium, there's only so much revenue he can generate, which does hamper them in terms of the transfer market, in terms of kicking on and stuff like that. So, I think once he's done his job there, I think he'll be out of there in the summer. Look, as far as Richie and Son, look, my hope is that Son has now found that confidence, Dark Song G, with that first goal. It wasn't the cleanest first touch, cleanest strike, but it came off his foot and was bundled into over the line. And sometimes when you're a player that's out of confidence, and each chance Son misses, the more and more it affects his confidence. Sometimes you just need that ball to get over the line by hook or crook. And then all of a sudden, you've seen the second goal. Crisp touch, crisp finish back to the Son that we know. So hopefully, you know, we can get him back there now. Hopefully he's full of confidence. With Richarlison, look, we know what we get with him, right? He absolutely runs his nuts off. I would argue, though, although he was decent the other night, there was quite a few times where, you know, the good breakaways did break down at his feet in front of goal. I think he had a half chance. Maybe a guy with a lot more football behind him probably finishes that. So I would say to fans, try and temper your expectations over Richarlison, which, by the way, we're going to get onto because he had a brilliant thing on social media. But I would say temper what your expectations of Richarlison over the next couple of games at least, because the plan was, and we were told this from Postecoglou in the pre-match press conference a couple of weeks out from the North London Derby, was to take their time to ease Richarlison back in to make sure his injuries don't reoccur. But with Solanke and Richarlison being our only fit senior striker, we've had to fast track that. So I do think there has to be an element that this guy is nowhere near up to sharpness for what we need right now, but needs must. He's putting himself out there. But big up Dark Song G. Really appreciate the support, my man. Really, really do. Good to see you. Donovan, are we making this work? He's frozen again.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. No, I don't know. My laptop charger was just.
I thought you got bored of the conversation. You're like, I've got better things to do. I'm out.
No. It is what it is. I don't know. My laptop charger went, but no. Yeah, Richie's always good for a good meme and a good laugh. You know, it's good to see what he put on Instagram. Don't worry, guys, I'm back. But the fact is we're gonna need everybody. Like I said that earlier. I said it now. Like this is bare bones time. You know, we're gonna need everybody, and it would be nice to have Richarlison repay the faith. 60 million is not light change nowadays. You know, so time to back our man. We've seen what happened with the 6. I know Drew came on earlier and saying, "Hey, we are not going to disclude the balloon huffer," but everyone has to pull their weight. Everybody has to pull their weight. You know, and. No, nothing against you, Drew. No, I'm just saying that the facts.
No.
It's
The huffing was the thing that I was laughing at. It's all good.
Yeah, no. The thing is real. It's everyone's skin trade now. Like we're relying on Olise. By the way, what an appearance! First time on the ball, drives at the heart of the defense. Yeah, I like to see more of that. Some bravery, some bollocks. Some just go out there and there's nothing to lose. Even if you do get stripped of the ball and the counterattack, big deal. Like we're in the worst injury crisis of our career, man. Let's just go. But no, let's be serious. Richie is the number 9 for Brazil. We buy quality. We invest in the right areas. So it'd be nice to see him to turn up with a couple goals today. So yeah, I'm back in Richie, man. Prove.
Do you know what? Look, I really like the guy's mentality and his work ethic. You know, it sort of gets my juices flowing. But look, on to Drew and Dermot, let's get your opinions on Richarlison because, you know, like Donovan was alluding to, he shared a topless photo of himself training on TikTok, which prompted a Spurs fan to comment, "We're 15th, please," with a load of laughing emojis and Richarlison simply replied, "Don't worry, I play now." So, despite his struggles this season, guys, do we think that Richarlison has the ability to step up and lead the attack and help turn Tottenham's fortunes around? Because, you know, we've seen glimpses when he has been fit. You could take your mind back to, was it November, December last year, where he played about 8 to 10 games and he scored in nearly every single one of them. He's proven in glimpses he can do it, but the overall picture suggests he can't. So, you know, where are we at with Richarlison? And what do you think of his little comment back to the guy on social media?
Look, for me, Richie, great shithousery, great with social media, great person, love him to bits. But no, I don't have any confidence of him leading, being our saviour up front.
He's here now. That's what he said. He's here now. He's back.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's back, but he's going to get injured. Every time he gets the ball, I feel he's going to get injured.
Yeah,
he spent more time in the injury room than he has on the pitch. I've always said it. Richie is a small fish in a big pond at Tottenham. You put him into a team like Everton or put him in like Leicester or somewhere where they can build a team around him and make him the vocal point, then I think that's where Richie thrives. You look at what he was at Everton. He was a big fish in that Everton side, and he was the main vocal point. He may be the number 9 for Brazil, but I've seen better Brazilian players, to be fair. I love Richie. I love his shithousery. I love the way I just think he's a decent human being, but he isn't the number 9 we need. We need somebody better. We need somebody that's going to come in. Probably, I would say the Luton Town player, and not Luton, the Ipswich Town player. I think it's a better probably fit for us than
That's a good shot. That's a good
yeah,
shot.
Delap. Yeah. I looked at Richie the other night, and he was running around like a headless pigeon. He wasn't. You look at Solanke. Solanke puts the work in. He's there trapping the ball, bringing the players in, going deep, and just Richie was sort of running around, trying his best. But I felt we really missed Solanke the other night. Again, I love Richie, I really do, but he isn't a Tottenham Hotspur player. Put him into a middle Premier League club or a lower Premier League club, then he's your man. But I think at Tottenham, I've been quite consistent on this, Dave, by saying that I love him, but he just isn't top club material. But if he
I think many
scores
people
today,
agree with you on that, Dermo. I think many people probably agree with you on that.
Yeah. I do you know what? If he scores today, of course I'm going to do the pigeon dance. Can't do it to save my life, but I'm going to try. But look, for me, I think Richie I think we paid too much for him. He was well overpriced, and I think Levy got his pants pulled down by Everton and spanked on the arse and said, and look, for me, it is what it is. But he's a Spurs player. If he plays, I'll support him. Of course I will. But I just don't think he's top team material. Sadly.
No, look, I think many people agree with you on that one, Dermo. You know, I think it's hard to sit here and justify it. You know, he hasn't worked out at Tottenham since making that move. Like, there shouldn't be any mistake about it. He has a point to come back and prove to everyone, you know, that he can do this. Now his injuries behind him, he can do this. Let's wait and see. Root 2 says Solanke didn't get injured at Bournemouth to take him out of playtime. He's already on his third injury here. Go figure. I know it's absolutely madness when you see stuff like that. It's absolutely madness. What I will say, though, is, you know, at Bournemouth, you know, they don't have Europe. They don't traditionally go far in the Cup, so it is one game a week. It is a lot different than at Tottenham Hotspur, where you are expected to play, you know, 3 games within 7 days. It is a bit different, but definitely agree with that. It's absolutely mind-boggling, Root 2. Good to see you, by the way. And Neil Shafton says, Richarlison takes a few games to get his coordination and timing back, but he tends to try to be a little too crafty, but his brain and reflexes aren't yet in sync with his brain. Absolutely spot on, Neil. Absolutely spot on. That's a very, very fair summary. Drew, where do you stand on Richarlison?
Hello.
You know, like you said to the fan, he's back. Don't worry, I'm here now. Do you believe him?
I do. I think Ange said that he was working really well in training. Apparently, he's had a couple of weeks longer to try and get his fitness up. So until he breaks down again, Pigeon has my full support. And just people in the chat asking for these 17 players, I'm putting the list together now for you, just so that we can get this done and dusted.
Just quickly, Spurs Medi says Richie has scored 11 goals and has 4 assists in 18 starts last season. He has potential to be one of the best, but he can stay fit. For F's sake, it's such a shame. Well, if that stat is true, which I don't doubt you, but if it is, because I do like to go on, you know, sort of verify them first and that, but see it for my own eyes. But fair play, if that stat is true, I mean, look, it's hard to disagree with that. But look, let's wait and see what he does on this run. You know, apparently from all reports, you know, he's very hungry to get back. He's very hungry to come back and prove a point. He's very determined. You know, and sometimes all you need is the motivation, and it can really transform a character, can really transform a man. So, look, I'm not writing him off yet. Let's wait and see what he does between now and when Dom Solanke gets back, because the reality is we need him. We need Big Rich right now. So, you know, there's no better time for him to step up and prove his work. Big up Spurs. Medi, guys, let's go into the wings. Who do you want to see out wing? Because, you know, a lot of people are suggesting that we'll start with Kulusevski, that he needs a rest. Would you be surprised if he starts there? Because I think, you know, with Postecoglou, he has to pick today or Elfsborg. I don't think you can play Kulu in both games. But I will caveat it by saying I think the reason why Postecoglou is so heavily reliant on Kulu is he's created the most chances from open play in the league, bar Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's the only one that's created more than him. So I think it's fair to say that he relies on Kulusevski going forward to create opportunities for all the other players around him. And I think it's a fair reflection of what you see on the eye. A lot of the good stuff going forward does tend to come through him. So where are we at today? Because it's my opinion, you look at Kulusevski, right, you know, against Hoffenheim, and in recent weeks, to be fair, his mind is telling him what to do. what he was doing earlier on in the season, blowing by players, knocking them out his way and stuff like that. But what I'm seeing now is a guy where his mind is telling him what to do, but his legs aren't carrying him. And it leads to him giving away the ball an awful lot, where sometimes, for the benefit of the team, knowing that he doesn't have the legs and recognition of it, just push that ball inside and, go again on the outside, keep possession, but he tends to give it away a lot. So it's coming to the point where it is becoming a little bit counterproductive, and, he does need a rest. So where are we at with Kulu today, guys? Donovan, we'll start with you, my man. Let's bring you in.
So that's a good question. Really, really well worded too. Like, the fact is, Kulu is going to give it all. He's going to give it 100%. And you have to argue that, like, hey, it's to the detriment of the team. You beat the first player, good. You beat the second player, but you're not that guy who can beat the third and take on a Premier League opposition, because the Premier League is the best league in the world, hands down. You're coming up against Pereira and James Justin, and you can argue where Leicester are as a club, but those are two quality ballers. Like, James Justin is one of the fastest fullbacks in the league. Alex Pereira, 4 or 5 years ago, he was gonna be linked to Madrid, Barcelona. He was the Portuguese up-and-coming star. So I'd like to see a bit of reservation and, like, a bit more trust in the tactics, a bit more trust in, like, all right, let's work on this possession over 90 minutes. Let's grind this opposition down, because we have the quality. I said going into Hoffenheim, what's going to get us over the line is the ability to hold onto the ball and play through them. And we did that near the end of the first half and the second half. Calm possession, let the team come on to us, and then eventually we just play through them, and they'll leave gaps in behind. So it's going to be about patience. It's going to be about a little bit of tenacity of digging in, because we know there's going to be times where we're going to be under the cosh. But in particular, Kulusevski, I think he's a midfielder. He's proven it that he's at number 10. He plays better in the middle of the field. He can ride those challenges. He's a big guy. He doesn't have the legs to beat those Premier League fullbacks, so we play him in that number 10. I guess the question I throw back to you is, where's Johnson? Is he going to be playing this game? Are we going to throw Mikey Moore in the trenches? Are we going to throw Elise? What do we have other than Kulusevski?
I think with Johnson, there's been no sounds that he's going to be fit and available for today's game. So I can only assume, that he's not available. Now, the reality is, I don't know. But I think, the biggest one out there that people are putting forward, Donovan, is Mikey Moore, who has had an impact off the bench in the last couple of days. I hear a lot this week after the Hoffenheim game that they'd be happy for Son or Kulu to take a rest and bring Mikey Moore in to see what he can do.
See, and there you go. A young academy player that's going to look at the likes of the Skip and Winks and say, hey, you guys didn't take your chances. You guys got booed off the pitch. You guys were part of subpar Tottenham Hotspur. We're the new generation. We're coming through. But I'll switch it back a little bit. If Kulu does play off the right, which he does, and he does cut back on his left foot, we need another world-class display by Pedro Porro, because there's going to be a space in when Kulu makes that overlap, or comes in, takes his ball 10, 20 yards off the halfway line, and leaves all that space for our postman to operate in. And we know the quality that Porro brings going forward. And if we can exploit that, and we know, I think you said it yourself, Dave, that either it's the hunger for not playing for 120 minutes or however long Richarlison was off the pitch. Either he's alert to that new space, he's got that fresh mind, he's attacking those runs that maybe Dominic Solanke has given up on. Because
fair point.
Yeah, you see Dominic Solanke, one of the best attacking late run strikers in Premier League for the last 2 seasons, begging for the chances that Richarlison had been getting at the end of. You see that last chance where Richarlison almost got his shin bone snapped against Jordan Pickford there. That's bread and butter for Dominic Solanke. So we get somebody like Porro at the end of those crosses and whip them in, and we know we're going to give a lot of possession in that first half. So it's going to be a mixture of, you don't need to be the hero. You don't need to carry the team. I know Kulusevski's got that talent, and I know he's got the ability, and we love to compare him to Odegaard, because that is the 10, and that is our direct rival, and we know that Kulusevski is miles ahead of that Norwegian footballer. But relinquish some of that control, pass it around the team, and we have the legs and we have the technical ability to get us over the line. Whether those players believe it, whether we have enough trust in the system to do it, that's another thing. But I like to see Kulusevski kind of ease up a bit, because you don't need to believe your own hype. You're 25. You have 5-6 more years left at the top level of this game. Pass that baton around. It's nice to have the club follow you around for a day and see your pre-ritual games and what you eat every single day. It's good to have that limelight, but it's a team first mentality. And I'm not having a go at Kulusevski.
No, I know.
Yeah. Like since Kane left, everyone's heard me before on this platform saying, hey, maybe Kulusevski is not a player. Everyone loves to say Kulusevski, our ginger from Sweden. I didn't think he had the minerals on the right wing, but you moved him into the middle, and he's a world-class player. So you can build around that. Let the likes of other players start carrying that weight. And we have world-class players in every position when we want to. So I'm hoping Kulusevski can kind of be more of a playmaker rather than this forced maverick that is not his game. So.
No, absolutely fair point. Absolutely fair point. I think a lot of people agree with you. I think, when he was playing out on the right wing, it sort of dried up after his initial impact, and many people are considering, look, is this guy who we think he is? But since moving into the middle, we've unleashed an absolute animal. But the problem right now is he's still trying to do things he was doing when he was fit and fresh, or where he doesn't have the legs to carry him. And it's coming to the point, against Hoffenheim at times, he's getting the ball and he's just running down dead alley straight down the wing. And it's just like, surely you can see you're just going to give that away and the ball's just going to come back. At what point do you turn backwards, recognize you don't have them legs, and look to keep possession? Because I think the other night we sort of made a problem off our own back. You've seen players just ballooning the ball long straight back to them, or players going on these long, hopeless runs. When in reality, if you just learn to keep possession, you can kill opposition that way rather than just sitting without the ball. And I think, Kulu was definitely a part of that. And I just think it's I think it's naivety. I just think, with his young age, don't get me wrong, I'm admiring the enthusiasm and I get what he's going through and I'm not having a go. But I think, an experienced player would recognize, hang on, I don't have the legs to carry me here. I can't keep giving away the ball. I'm not going to make that run. I've got to move it back inside or something like that. But look, the reality is, like I said, he creates more chances than anybody in this team. Outside of Cole Palmer, he's created the most in the Premier League. And that's why Postecoglou will probably pick him again today. Drew, I want to come to you, my man, on Son. Now, Son has had these recent struggles. It's been clear for everybody to see. But he scored a brace against Hoffenheim, which shows he can still step up to a degree if needed. Do you think this season could be one where he finds his second win and becomes a key difference maker in the second half of the campaign? Or do you still feel those moments will be more rare due to his age, which many people attribute to his decline this season? You're on mute, Drew.
You're on mute, Drew.
Sorry, I was just trying to do this this numbers thing in the chat. I completely missed that question.
Are you still going on about that?
Yeah.
You're still trying to sort that
out? I am because I was counting Solanke, and I guess obviously I was getting confused with homegrown and club trained. So Davies is Welsh, so Davies doesn't count, but Solanke does. So maybe we've got two spots. Either way, it's still difficult. So I'm just, it's difficult. It's hard. But yeah, sorry, Dave. What was your question?
No, just before I come back to you on Son, I forgot this from Dark Song G. He says, I really don't want to see Skip and Winks have a worldie. Do you know what, Dark Song G? We were laughing about this at the beginning of the show. I was like, if they step up and they play us off the park today, I will go absolutely ballistic. One, where was that when they were at Tottenham Hotspur? But two, that's their level. Championship, bottom half of the Premier League is their level. And it really shows how far we've fallen if they're making a mockery.
Can I jump in here? Can I jump in here for a second? We've seen, I hate to do this, but it's what we do as football fans. We look at our rivals. We look at Jack Wilshere, the next best thing in world football since sliced bread, and we see Winks put that masterclass in against Real Madrid at Wembley Stadium, and he was the next Winkiesta, be able to turn on the pivot, ping those half balls in, be able to skin his man. We've seen Oliver Skip put in a Busquets / Matuidi performance in at the San Siro, butting in tackles, breaking legs. We know they have it in it. So, Dark Sun G, love your contribution. But that's what you have to expect. They're gonna come and do that, and that's the reality we have to expect as a Spurs fan. So we have to rise above that. Whoever's playing that 10 position is gonna have their ankles raked. They're gonna go through the back of them. They're playing for their country. They're playing for their family name. They're playing for Tottenham Hotspur to slap up our club and Daniel Levy because they experienced that for the last 5, 6, 7 years. They know what it's like to play for Tottenham Hotspur. They know what it's like to be that next best team and not have the backing, and not have any support outside of your manager and your fans. You're basically hung out to dry. So you have to expect that. They're going to have worldies. So we know that going into it. So we need our likes of our $60 million marquee signing to step up. We need our players to step up. We need to play them off the park. I want Sarr to go through them and just play like that 8 he has to be. Bergvall, get a yellow. Somebody just let him know, hey, you're not playing for us because you're not at our level. And that's how we do it. We little bro them. We show them that there's levels to the game. Like you said, Dave, you're a championship player. You're a yo-yo club player. You're a mid-table player. We are the top 6. We're playing Champions League football next year. The end train is up the station. And that's how you have to approach this game. Because you give them any time and space, you give them any sort of respect, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And that's all I have to say for you.
You could just see if you back off them, one of them pulling the trigger from about 30 yards and they're finding the top corner. You could just see it. But I agree with you. Look, with Harry Winks, the reason why I had a big problem with him at Tottenham is as soon as anyone hit him, he phased out of the game. For me, that's the first thing you do. Clatter him, take him out of the game.
No.
With Skip, all you got to do is just pop the ball around him. He doesn't have the legs to get around after it. But big up Dark Sung G. He also says, based on Premier League injuries, Johnson returns February 16th. So Johnson is out. Okay, big up Dark Sung G. Drew, will I leave you and come back to you, or do you want this?
Yeah, because now I'm thoroughly confused because a couple of people have pointed out quite clearly that a couple of the players that I've got are clearly homegrown, but then
Drew,
maybe
Drew, that's a scouting mission right now. What are you doing, Drew?
Completely talking out my ass. I don't know. I don't know where because I've been compiling this information from what Jason said off of 3 or 4 websites, but yeah, I guess. A homegrown player is somebody who played for the Football Association at least 3 seasons before their 21st 3 seasons. Yeah, maybe he's got it wrong.
Ben Davies is a homegrown player because after a certain amount of years, he becomes homegrown because he's from Wales, I think. I think it's something that works along them lines.
Yeah,
play
in
in
the
Premier
three
League
seasons.
What's
Anyway.
got something right? What's that?
Why Drew's sorting out that, I'll pass one on to you, Dermo. So do you know what, Drew? This is the minefield I go through when I'm trying to get information for my videos. You've got to go through all these websites just to make sure, man. It's absolute madness.
Do you know what? I've got so many tabs open that my Mac has started creaking.
Well, if your computer crashes, we know why.
Right.
You can't handle all the squad lists. It's going to burn your eyes. Dermo, on Sunday, look, he stepped up the other day with 2 goals, right? Do you think this season could be one where he finds a second win and sort of kicks Tottenham on the second half of the season? Or do you think them moments that we've seen against Hoffenheim are few and far in between now? And that's what we should maybe get used to.
Look, Sonny's different. Sonny's changed. He's getting older. He's getting to the point where I think he's reached his peak now. He's just on the sort of slope of going that way. But look, he always look. I think Sonny's never going to be the player he was last season or the season before, and I think also he's missing Harry Kane dreadfully because him and Harry Kane had that connection. He hasn't got that other player to really link up with. I think if I was Ange, I would play Sonny in the cam role. He's lost a bit of pace on the wing. And players at that age will lose a bit of pace, will lose their little bit of their legs. So stick him in where he can be more effective. And I think that being the cam role. I love Sonny. I love him to do well. I want him to win. Yeah, go on, Donovan. Sorry.
No. I don't want to cut you off, Dermot. You're on a roll, but you said it right yourself. Like Teddy Sheringham, like bring him back into the midfield where he can like save his legs. We know he's got lightning in a bottle. He can take the cap off when he wants. We've seen it against Manchester United. We've seen it against Aston Villa. We've seen it against City. He's got that, but he's picking his moments. And fair play to him. Like, let's be real. We've forsaken these legends at our club. The fact that Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Rose, I don't even have to name that 11. Everybody knows it. The fact that we're starved of trophies for this long, and he knows it. He's the last one left of that Champions League final. He believes in the club. He's bled for the badge. He's going to be a lifetime player. So he wants to win a trophy with the Spurs. I'm give it back to you, Dermo. But the fact of the matter is he's got that ability, but it's only in spurts, and it's only when he thinks it's applicable. And let's be fair, he's earned that right. He's paid his dues. He's done more than enough for the club. Bring him in. I hate to say it, but that Liverpool game at home when we got smacked up 6 goals or something stupid like that, he doesn't have the legs to play that high Postecoglou system and run his fullback down and chase him down 6, 7, 8 times out of 10. He doesn't have that ability anymore. And that's okay. Put him inside, let him get a bit of free reign, and build a team around him. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Dermo.
No, look, look. I can remember as Steve Perriman come to the end of his career at Tottenham, and you just knew you're willing him on. Go on, Steve, you can do it. After years of him being our captain, you're just willing him to do well, and you just knew in '86, okay, his legs are gone. And it's heartbreaking when you see one of these legends of the club come to the end of their career. You can see it happening, but you're so willing him to do well. But I think it was right to keep him for another year. To look after Yang, whatever his second name is. I can never pronounce the poor man's name. I'm just going to call him Yang, or Sonny Jr. To look after him for the year. I think that's a no-brainer. And Sonny will win a trophy with us. He will leave with the trophy. And do you know what? You can say what you want about Harry Kane. Should we have sold him? Shouldn't we have sold him? Should we have done this? Shouldn't we have done that? I think Sonny has shown a bit more loyalty. And do you know what? I'm going to stick with this. And if Harry had stuck with it, I think if Harry, and I get Harry was frustrated, Harry Kane, I get it. He wanted to win trophies. I get it. But he was a Tottenham boy that came through the ranks. Sonny wasn't. Okay. Sonny has shown more commitment to Tottenham Hotspur. And look, I'm not dissing Harry Kane either, by the way. He's a legend of the club. He's our club leading goal scorer. He's our generation of Jimmy Greaves, by the way. But I just felt that connection with Harry. Sonny's missing his brother. And I just wish Harry didn't leave. Because if Harry had stayed, and if he just put ambition to one side and thought, do you know what? This is my boyhood club. I'm going to do everything I can to win a trophy with this club. I think we would have won something or been somewhere different this season. I look at players come by Steve Perriman. You look at David Howes, never played for another club. I know he went on, but he played for Tottenham for most of his career. Steve Perriman didn't play for anyone. He did go to Oxford, but won everything with Tottenham. I just think players now don't show loyalty. It's very rare. And Sonny's now showing. It's showing. And look, I'm not dissing Harry Kane. He's right to be ambitious. He's right to go and search for trophies. But I just think he should have, do you know what? I'm going to stick it out for the year. Let's see what happens under Ange. And I think he would have got brought up with Ange Ball. I think he would have loved this system. He would have loved playing with Ange. And I think he would have signed a new contract and Harry still be here. It's sad, but that's how I feel. Sorry. No,
Dermo, you 100%. And like, sorry for jumping in here, but like, I'll just echo that, Dermo. Like, first of all, mine was polluted. You jump in, Dave. Do the lineups.
No, work away, and then we'll go through the lineups, Donovan.
Okay, so first of all, well said. We all know Harry Kane's mind was polluted. We know we had a brother as an agent in his ear since flirting with the city, and he had his head turned
inside sources, whatever that's what it is. I agree with you. Loyalty is far in between. We don't get the Francesco Tottis anymore. We don't get those people that have club first mentality. It sucks to see because he's the captain of England, whatever. But I take my mind back to that game where Nuno Espirito Santos came in and, you know, what did Sonny do? Stepped up in that home game versus City. Slotted that winner in. We won the game 1-0 at home with Sonny taking the mantle. 100%, I agree with that. Yeah, it is tough to see. It is tough to see. But no, I'm more interested in these lineups, bro. That's what's going on here.
So just quickly, Dark Song G says lineup is out midfield of Sarr, Bergvall, and Bentancur. Interesting, no James Maddison. I'm very interested in that one. I'm quite surprised actually off the back of his performance midweek, and I think he's been hard done by here. Is even on the bench?
I think he's injured, mate.
No, he must be out injured then. Interesting on that one. Dark Song G. Anyone that's done any investigation, please let us know. Why no James Maddison? He also says, imagine if someone wins a trophy before Kane, the Carabao Cup. Do you know what? That'd be absolutely mad, this Dark Song G. It'd be absolutely insane if that is the case, my man. Big yourself up, brother. But the lineups are out, guys. Let's go through them. Oh, by the way, Dark Song G, you'll be delighted if someone wins one before Kane. For sure you will, my man. For sure you will. Also, let us know your thoughts on that midfield. Why no Maddison, in your opinion? But we'll go through the lineups. Kinski is in goals. Pedro Porro at right back. Dragosin and Ben Davies at centre back. Archie Gray comes in at left back. Rodrigo, Bentancur, Bergvall, and Sarr in the midfield. So Maddison out, Sarr in with Kulusevski, Richarlison, and Son forming the front line. Dermotron, who's on that bench?
It is Brandon Austin, Reglon, Basuma, Aljai, Alosi, Minyak, Moore, and Lancashire. And I'm sorry, Dark Son Sheet, if I've got Son Junior's name wrong. Please forgive me. Don't come back with me. Don't shoot me. Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
So another young bench, basically. So it's same as midweek. You know, you're looking for your first 11 to go out and win you the game in the first half with, you know, youngsters coming off the bench in the second half to look to consolidate. So, look, we'll go through, get people's thoughts on the lineup and get their score predictions. I'll come back to Drew last and we'll find out if he's clarified it. Drew, I've put a lot of information in the private chat there for you.
No, I've seen it. No, I've seen it. I think I've actually, Joe, who's been really helpful in the chat, I think I'm now looking at the squad that they're looking at. And, yeah, I guess I'm never going to listen to anybody again. We basically, I mean, looking like this, it looks like we got 3 spots. So basically, I'm going to get off my high horse and Levy sign them up.
Let's go.
Levy sign them up.
Are you just backing out? Are you just backing out, sort of disgracefully, sort of head down?
I'm absolutely being graceful about it. There's no disgrace here. I'm a little bit frustrated at myself that I didn't see it because I've been looking at it too much because I've been sitting here and my eyes have been going cross trying to figure it all out.
I'm going to tie it up for myself. I'll double check it for myself and I'll tie it up. We'll come back to you in a minute, Drew. Dermo, what's your score prediction and your thoughts on the lineup, my man?
Look, for me, I think it's a good lineup. A great, as somebody said it in the chat, they have Ben Davies back and Bentancur. I never thought I'd say this about Ben Davies. It's a bloody relief. I thought he's been exceptional this season in centre back with Radu Dragosin. He's a very calming influence on them, actually. And when they have played together, they've played very well. You look at Man City 4-0. Radu had a great game with Ben Davies. Benny, as I said, brings that calmness to the midfield. He is our Uruguayan general. And then, of course, you got Papa, you got Kulusevski, you got the Pigeon Man and Captain Fantastic, the front tree. Sonny's going to have a worldie today. So is Cooley. Cooley needs a rest. We all know that. But he has been our best player. And look, and I hope we see more of Lucy, more and Alijai coming on. I hope we see Minyak as well today. I really do. I'm excited by him. I'm just surprised no Maddison. I think there must be a late injury call or something, but if he is an injury, then I agree with you, Dave. It's very hard done by because he had a good game on Thursday. But for me, I'm going for a 4-1 win. I went for 3-1. I'm going for 4-1 now. That lineup's just got me even more excited. So yeah, And I've got to pop off, Dave, because I've got to get my Tottenham Team Talk show ready. So I do apologise.
Yeah.
So, but that is thanks for having me on yet again.
No, thank you very much, my man. I really do appreciate it, Dermo. You have a good one, my man.
I'm sorry about lashing out earlier, Dave. Nothing personal. You know that, man.
I know that, Dermo. You don't need to apologize.
Settle down.
Guys, make sure you get over to THFC Till I Die. Check out Dermo's channel. I'm going to put a link for it in the description there now for everybody to get over, subscribe. Dermo, thank you very much for your time once again, my man.
No problem at all. Thank you so much. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
In Ange, we sort of trust. After today, I will be fully in trust, but at the moment, it's in the middle. Anyway, come on, you Spurs.
We'll find out after kickoff. I'm sure we'll find out off Dermo where he's at with Ange.
5 minutes in. Bye, Ange out. Right, see you later, lads. Bye.
See you later, my man. Have a good one.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Guys, I'm going to put Dermo's link in here. I'll put it in there, guys. Make sure you please get on that and check Dermatron out. And we have a super chat here from Al Dante. He says, great to have Benton class fit and playing again. And look, for me, I think Rodrigo Bentancur is absolutely crucial, Al Dante. I think, he's a guy that when he's in there, I think he just brings a lot more calmness, a lot more composure to that position. I think he allows the fullbacks to get back. One thing I noticed, he was out the left side and out the right side, snuffing out play, putting the ball out for a throw-in, which allows your fullback to get back in position. That's something Basuma does not do. You also look at in terms of in possession, he gets that ball. He allows the two number 8s or whatever, two number 10s, whatever you like to call them, Maddison, for instance, stay higher up the pitch because he can find them. When Basuma's there, often Maddison has to drop deep right back beside Basuma to take that ball and progress it, whereas Bentancur can do it himself. So I actually think Maddison plays better when Bentancur's in there, but also I think the football's so much more fluid. Look at some of the ball we were playing the other day in the first half, and it all starts with Bentancur. He's so composed on the ball. He doesn't lose it in there. He draws players in, which frees up other players around him, and he just gets us moving. For me, he's absolutely crucial to Postecoglou being successful at Tottenham Hotspur. The big problem we have, though, is we can't keep him on the pitch, whether it's injuries or whether it's his mouth. We cannot keep him on the pitch. So I think the big thing now is to just put him under Postecoglou's wing and do everything we can to keep him on the pitch. Al Dante, big yourself up, my man. Really good super chat there. And we got Dark Sun G says, Winks starts, skips on the bench. Plus Vestergaard starts and he's slow. He's the exact guy I'll be looking to put ball in behind. Just put ball in behind him, keep putting it over the top. Whatever wingers on that side, just get them to make them runs in behind them and we're in. Big up Dark Sun G. Absolutely love that. And he also goes on to say, I hope Bentancur doesn't get injured twice versus Foxes. Look, we can't afford another Bentancur injury, Dark Sun G. I don't even want to speak about it or try and manifest it because when he's there, the midfield looks so much more better. The back line has a lot more protection. It's not as open. And for me, I think, like I said, he's absolutely crucial. We cannot afford to lose Rodrigo Bentancur. Big up Dark Sun G. Donovan, let's go to you, my man. Let's get your score prediction and your thoughts on the starting lineup.
Okay.
Couple things. First of all, Drew, I've never seen you like this before, man. You're having a mare, hey? Our scout.
Do you know what? I think I've cracked it. I think I've actually cracked it, and I think what I said still stands. But we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, for sure. Fair play, mate. I enjoy sharing the screen with you lads. This is great. No, delusional. I've been hanging out with Dermatron way too long. I don't know what it is, but I'm going for a 4-0. 4-0. I'll echo what you said there, Dave. Maddison, huge loss. Creativity going forward. When he's on his day, he can pivot on the ball gracefully. He does everything Eriksson can do, but even better because he can dribble. So nice seeing him pick up the ball in a half turn, fake across, beat two men. Maddison is class. So we'll caveat that by saying Bergvall, Sarr, they're young, they're energetic, they're playing for their international careers, they have nothing to lose. Go out there and press the living hell out of them, man. Go out there and show the golfing class. Show them why we shipped out Winks, why we shipped out Skip. Get on them, suffocate them high up the pitch. I'm personally going for a 4-0 win. Either I've lost the plot completely, or I've seen that Daddy Davies clip way too much. Davies on his day has the potential of spraying those passes like prime Eriksson, step into the half space, play with your left foot, expose that space in behind. We'll be fine going forward. I'm really looking forward to that. And echo to Aldante, thank you for the support, man. It's so nice to see what a quality number 6 can do to a team.
Yeah.
When you have the ability to have a player, so many people opt to the 2 holding midfielders in the 4-2-3-1 because it is such a hard place to police. Because a lot of players lack the discipline to stay back and police that whole space in front of that back four. But Bentancur has mastered that to a T. The ability to go in and time your challenges. And how many times have we seen Bentancur just do these crazy tackles where he throws his body on the line or it looks like the ball's going to place?
Well, he's always injured.
Exactly.
Two concussions this year. That's why.
Exactly. He shepherded the player right out to the bloody touchline because he knows what it means if the ball gets in behind him. You know, you have to have that guile. You have to have that ability. I'm stoked to see the Uruguayan back. We're back at home. We're back in form. So I wore these glasses. I wore this effort. I wore this chest because that's the level we have to have. We are a top club. We've fallen so far. It sucks we've fallen this far behind. But the reality of the fact is we are Tottenham bloody Hotspur. We are a top 6 club. Let's assert ourselves. We're going to get Van de Ven back. We're getting Romero. We're getting our stars back. We start it now. 4-0. Sonny's going to bang up. Bergvall's going to get a goal. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to be dancing like pigeons. Let's have faith in Andrew. 4-0. Let's go.
Do you know what? I really do hope so. And look, I think we've got more than enough quality to get points against Leicester today. It's just we need to be clinical in our fresher moments in the game. We can't rely on this going later on in the game. But hopefully with Bentancur in there, like I said, and like Donovan said, I think we take a lot more. So, you know, hopefully that works out today. Now, Drew, I actually think I've cracked it. So, look, we will let you go first, though. We'll let you give your opinion.
No. I tell you, let me get a different spin on it. What do you think it is?
So for me, I've looked at the squad registration. We're full on the foreign side. We can't bring any more in. Johnson and Ben Davies do go on the foreign side, so we're full with 17. Then you look at the English quarter. We're at 4 homegrown players, which is our English quarter. But you look at the club trained players, we've only got 2. So the 2 spots left available. We registered a 23-man squad, not a 25-man squad. The two spots left open are club trained players. Now, the reason why the club didn't register the likes of Mikey Moore, Lancashire, and stuff like that is because they didn't have to. Because they can just go.
They're under 21.
So basically, what I'm seeing is we've got room for a Marcus Edwards or a player that's basically come through Tottenham's academy that has gone elsewhere. But if you bring them back, but also you've got to take out Werner, bring Kinski in. You take out Forrester, someone else, Jed Spence comes in,
and that's the European squad, right?
That's the European squad as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
And what about the
Premier
European
League squad?
What about the Premier
League squad? But technically, you could sort of just, register what you want with the Premier League squad because some of our under 21 players, you can deregister. They don't have to be registered and you could just, bring in whoever you sign. So the European one is the one that's the hardest one to meet though, Drew. That's the one where you sort of have to get your eggs in the basket for, that's what you sort of build your squad around. That's the harder one to meet. So that's my interpretation of it. What's yours?
As far as the European squad, I thought that you could only have. I think you can only have 3 changes, regardless of age. Was my understanding.
So with the European squad, you have a thing called a B list, which means you can bring any of your academy products and put them on that B list, and they can travel with you, right? But that was the changes that you're talking about. The changes that you're talking about can only be made once the Elfsborg game is over, before the next knockout round. You can only take out 3 and bring in 3. That's spot on, yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh shit! I don't know, man. Well,
are we giving you more headaches?
Well, no, because I think Joe's right in terms of I still think there might actually be a little bit more because I'm more concerned with because of the fact that there are 2 separate rules. And you basically, if you fix one on one side, then you're still ballsed up on the other side, right? So my interpretation was we only really had room for 1 because European squad, you want Spence in there, you want Kinski in there. So those are 2 swaps. You're probably going to take out Odegaard because he's injured and he's not going to play. And you're probably going to take out Forster.
Yeah.
And then that way you've still got your two homegrown, which is Austin and Whiteman, right?
Yeah.
As well as the other two.
Well, that means once you're taking out two and you're bringing in another two, your squad is still at the limits in terms of the only two.
Right, so you've got one more change.
Well, if you want to deregister Werner, yeah, and bring someone else in, you've got one more change, basically.
So my theory was the European League, and sorry, we're probably boring the fucking chat.
No.
Europeans,
people understand this.
Right, yeah, European. I was thinking Odegaard out because it's pointless. Forster out because you're putting Kinski in. Then you're putting Spence in, and then there's one more change that you can make. So based on that, why would you then have? You couldn't then go and get two. Well, yeah, you couldn't go and get by, even if you wanted to for that squad, you couldn't then go buy two players that would make that squad better because you can still only register one of those two, right?
Yeah, €4.
Because you've already made the change.
Yeah, €4. But I think in terms of Premier League and FA Cup and that, they can still play for Tottenham. It's just in Europe. That's the only thing. You are spot on in what you're saying in terms of European registration.
Right.
Outside of bringing in Kinski and Jed Spence, there is only one more change you can make. And that's either an Odegaard or a Timo Werner that'll come out if you bring another body in. But if we were to say bring in two, for instance, over the age of 21, they can still play in the Premier League and they can still play in the cup competitions. But I think if I'm correct, see, again, even if you go under 21s, you look at Lucas Bergvall, he has to take up a foreign spot on the squad. He has to be registered, because he hasn't been at Tottenham for 3 years. So, it is complicated, but I think your first initial sort of impression was absolutely spot on, lad.
Right. Okay. All right, cool. Well, yeah, half right then.
So look, we've cleared that one up. No, but you're right on that.
Oh, yeah, clear as mud.
You are right. You are right in terms of the European squad. Like, if you bring in 2 or 3 bodies, you can't register them all for Europe. You're absolutely spot on with that. But let's get your quick thoughts on the lineup and let's get your score prediction, my man. So the lineup is Kinski in goals, Porro right back, Archie Gray left back, Dragusin and Davies centre back. You've got Bentancur, Bergvall and Sarr in the midfield, and Kane, Son, Kulu and Richarlison up front.
Yeah, I think that's all right. I was looking at it earlier and I was squinting, looking at the bench, and I saw Min Hyuk in there, but because it was so small, it looked like Mrs. Hack. And I thought we were actually going to use the tea lady on the bench. Do you know what? I genuinely still think, I'm probably going to have a stinker. I still think we should be strong enough. I still think if the boys pace themselves, we should be enough for this Leicester team. They are absolutely abysmal. And I just on this Areola bandwagon thing, right? While I get that this guy's having a really good season at Bournemouth, you know who else had really good seasons at places? Roberto Martinez, Michael Laudrup, Paul Jordan, Ralph Hasenhüttl, Alan Pardew, Tony Mowbray, Craig Shakespeare, Chris Wilder. These are all guys that had really good single seasons.
Steve
Areola, but prior to this season, Areola finished bottom half for Bournemouth last year, and he had 3 bottom half finishes for Rayo Vallecano. So, while I appreciate the guys having a good year, I'm just going to sit back and wait before I decide that the grass is greener, and I absolutely have to have that guy down on the coast, because he's done, other than this season, he's done absolutely nothing to prove that he's any better than the people that I've just reeled off. In my opinion.
Look, that's absolutely fair. And I think, I've heard people say similar, what's to say these guys are going to jump into the Tottenham dugout and, continue on that job, continue on the rise. I think, it's a fair argument to make, and maybe a discussion we'll have for another day for sure. But we have got an update here, Lily White India's put it in as well. Maddison apparently is still sore from Thursday, got a bit of a nothing serious and should be back next week. and that's from Ange Postecoglou. And you know what? He did say something along the lines in the press conference about the needing to protect, your creative players and the need for Maddison to be fresh to get the best out of them. But he never ruled them out of this lineup, which is annoying. But anyway,
Right.
we've got the update on Maddison, so we know what's going on there. Did I get a score prediction off you, Drew?
I'm gonna say, I think 3-0. I think we're doing all right. I think we'll put them to bed today.
Do you know what, guys? I fucking hope so, because we could definitely do it with a nice win. Look, I think we've got more than enough quality. It's just about whether we're going to be clinical. That's where I think we've been let down a lot this season. Big up William Webb. Australia Day in Oz. So 3-1 to the Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Big up William Webb.
Go on, Australia Day. Big up.
Day to all of you guys out there. Hopefully you have a cracking day. I presume it's your version of our St. Patrick's Day and, stuff like that. But big up William Webb. But guys, we're going to leave it there. I want to say a massive thank you to Drew once again and Donovan getting up at all hours of the morning to do this with us and somehow make more coherent points than me and Dermo, and we're up later than these guys. So fair play to these gentlemen. Really appreciate it, man. Also, fair play to Dermo as well. Really appreciate Dermo giving up his time to do this. To all of you guys at home who sit there and participate in this conversation, tune in, get your questions and get your talking points, bring your comments in and participate. I really do appreciate it. It makes the show so much better when you guys do that. So thank you very much. And to the people that have gone the extra mile, I want to say a massive thank you to Darren Johnson, Brian Dempsey, Moondog. Hopefully you're feeling better, sir. Hopefully a win will make you feel better. Reese as well. Great to see you. Dark Song G as well. And also El Dante. Very, very kind of you guys on the support. But guys, I'll see you back here in 15 minutes' time for the watch along. Please, if you can on your way out, run the lights up. Go and get your sandwiches ready. Get your can of fizzy pop, or if you want a beer, it's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock here in Ireland, so make that your excuse, guys. And we'll see you back here for the big game today. A real 6-pointer. Let's gain some momentum. Let's try and reignite the second half of this season. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Big up everyone in the chat.
And Andrew Trust, come on.